The source of all blessing instructs me, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, to care about this guy and then to care about all the other people in the world just like I care about this guy. It would take too long to explain why I'm required to do this, but I am required right now to tell you a few things before I get started. And that is that A, the video Final Chance for a Fresh Start is incredibly frigging important. It really is. And you'll probably wonder, well, why? First of all, why am I not explained it yet? Well, it's kind of silly. I don't know how to do that, how to talk to a world when I don't know who's listening, I have such a small audience, it's very difficult to do. I don't know who my audience is. It's almost impossible to do. I should probably actually do it live with somebody, explaining it to them, but how do I do that? Anyways, but it is incredibly important, and I do owe you an explanation. It is a way, if, to really, really do very good things for each and every one of us. It is based upon the idea that working together, we are all better off than if we do not work together. And we need a more honest world and all the rest. It's so frigging important. It's the most important thing I ever did. I mean, that's not true. It's the most important video I ever put up on this thing. In theory, if people understand it, but I need to explain it. I need to see who do I talk to right now? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Second thing I need to tell you is that it's my birthday, this Shabbos. Why do I need to tell it to you? It takes too long to explain. And I'm able to have some free time now talking to you for fun without the things that I have to do. So I want to get there real quick. Okay, it's my birthday, Shabbos Nachamu, if you know Jewish language. It's, if you don't know Jewish language, it takes too long to explain. But Shabbos Nachamu, Parshas Ve'eschanan, this coming Shabbos, this coming Saturday is my birthday. Next thing I'm required to tell you is that, connected with Final Chance for a Fresh Start, I am trying to, I would like to, I need to, I know what I would do with if I raised, the more money that I have under my control, I guess that's called having money. I don't know. I don't really buy into the whole system, so I don't really want to give it credibility. But it exists. And the way it exists is money that I have in my control, regardless of, what I spend it on. The reason I'm saying it so oddly is because whereas I would assume that most people spend most of their money on themselves or investments or whatever else, historically, I spend most of my money not on myself. And, and when it's spent on myself, my days are usually spent for that others are benefited as well by my time on this earth, usually speaking. Although for the record, if anyone has, screw it. I got to finish what I got to do before I have my freedom to do what I want to do. So honest to God, if there's someone that you're wondering, I have a few $1 million extra to give, or I'm committing suicide in the afternoon, let me write a quick will. Joking. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, the suicide part. But honestly, you honestly could it would be very good. I would appreciate it tremendously. As I think, it would, okay, that's it. But very specifically, I want to get $120,000 by my birthday this week, by Shabbos, by Friday, really, before Shabbos starts. And the reasoning is very complicated, and it's connected with Final Chance for a Fresh Start, the video there. It's really frigging important for the whole planet, and certainly for me, and certainly for you. If we have a connection, trust me, you want to understand why it is because I am definitively crippled. I'm the fucking Messiah who is crippled and unable to be the Messiah. In other words, those are jargon. I don't mean that in the most literal sense, but for those people who believe in the Messiah, who know me, they know that there's something, and I can explain what the wrong part is. So other people, you need to step in because you think that I can do things. You can't really see where I'm crippled. So you need to know what is needed. So I need to explain some of that. In any case, but yes, $120,000 for my birthday. And I'm also required to tell you that today is actually somewhat of a crisis because I personally even require money just to stay alive at this moment and to stay healthy at this moment. Take too long to get into. And I'm also not asking. I'm definitively not asking for money. Definitively not asking. I believe 100% that I am not interested. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I'm not asking for anything. But I am required to say that if you want to give me a birthday present, then money would be the best thing. And as of now, I guess I have a few, they probably exist, but I don't know what they are. Whatever, I'm saying in terms of how to get, if you want to give me a birthday gift, I have PayPal. The other ones, Zelle, I think I must have it, whatever, Zelle, Cash App, all the other things. If you want to ask, just write a comment or call me or write an email, but a comment if you don't know my email or phone, which is most likely because I'm not very good with keeping in touch with that. Yeah, comment is good, but PayPal. So, and I really, really, really dislike this, but I'm required to. And then afterwards I can breathe free. Once I give you my PayPal address, I'm allowed to breathe free. And the rest of our time is completely just, I don't know what it's going to be even. So just stick around. So my PayPal is moshejrudner@gmail.com. It's also actually called at Mafi Mushkala, but I forgot how I spelled Mushkala. Mafi Mushkala is a cute little Arabic term that means, but more correct, it doesn't matter. It means no problem. Because I love the fact that in this context, Mushkala means problem. Whereas mushkala is just a cute sounding word. It's kind of like, like a diminutive sort of that you'd call like a little baby Moshe. You'd call him mushkala. So mafi just means, in the Levant anyway, I mean, there isn't. It's, it doesn't, so mafi mushkala. It's a very nice term. But again, my email address, because I know how to spell that, Moshe, which is what most people know me as, but as you know, I don't really buy into the whole name thing. Moshe, J for middle name, Rudner, again, totally don't buy it. Especially Rudner is named after some town in Poland. Redner literally in Yiddish means speaker. And it's true. Everyone in my family is not shy, but it comes from a place called Rudna, which is, my whole family was killed there. What am I called that? I don't know. I don't buy into the name thing any which way. Nonetheless, for this, if you want to get a birthday present, and bear in mind that, that if you were to give me 10 million or a billion, I know I'm being silly, of course, it would not be overdone. Anyhow, but Moshe J. Rudner at gmail.com. MOSHEJRUDNER at gmail.com. MOSHEJRUDNER at gmail.com. But do me a favor and let's just, I swear on everything that is holy, this is not a request for money either for myself or for anybody else. This is neither of the two. Because if I am requesting anything for any, that's why I'm phrasing it as a birthday thing. If I'm requesting money for this project of $120,000 for what I want to get by my birthday so I can implement to the best of my ability this final chance for a fresh start, then I would need to explain a lot more. But I know what I'm talking about, and I'll be happy to explain if anyone's interested. Certainly, if you give money, we'll have a Zoom conference and post it or something. Anyways, so that's that. Now, I have about 11:25 left, and I can relax, because I did what I had to do. Maybe I'll show you around. Yeah, may as well. But this feels like a have-to kind of thing, and I'm not in the mood to do a have-to right now. So let me just say that I'll just say this much. that I'm different than most people in many ways. Everyone is different from everyone else in many, many ways. The main thing would probably be what they call ADHD. I dislike the term and whatever, but if you were to use this term, which is a terrible, evil term, which implies something wrong with people like this, then it would be correct to say I am at the very, very, very far extreme of this, for both good and for bad. Frig, I didn't want to do that. That wasn't something I wanted to do. What do I have here on my little note? I have, because today, I have here nothing but 20 minutes, totally free, nonstop after the have to stuffs. Enjoying honest and free. Okay. Lordy, lordy. Well, depending on, who's listening, I'd have different things to say, but I did mention before the final chance for a fresh start thingamajig, and that is quite important. So maybe I should do a little bit of explaining, or if I want to, do a little bit of explaining about that. Nah, can't do it because I need to connect to the internet on this in order to watch it, and I was going to fisk it, as the term goes. Anyways, that's after Robert Fisk. It has to do with just going through and explaining, or with regards to Robert Fisk anyway, refuting, I think it was, his points in an article. In other words, back in the halcyon days of the internet, before the rabble got on and it got really, really, really stupid, yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff going on. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. A lot of the things that I want to explain would be easily understood without a lot of background by Orthodox Jews, which is the background that I come from and the kind of rabbi that I am. In other words, the ordination that I have, the degree that I have, Orthodox Jewish kind of thing. But they would have certain issues that would require a lot of explanation, whereas other people it would be a total, they would be bored. Just like Orthodox Jews would be bored if I spent forever explaining what the Sabbath is, what Shabbos is. I have a couple of videos on this. If you don't know much about the Sabbath, Orthodox or not, I have both. I have for all different kinds of people. I'm very big on the Sabbath, big fan of it. Yeah, you could look on this YDYDY, as at the moment this is posted on, that's the name of my YouTube channel. I guess for Orthodox Jews, let me speak to Orthodox Jews now maybe. I do have a little category here called Esachai Anochi Mevakesh. I seek my brothers. Joseph went looking for his brothers, which is my middle name, hence the J in Moshe J. Rudner. Okay, Orthodox Jews. So something that you should understand about me so that you're not shocked, because I very, very, very much dislike when people misapprehend. It's dangerous for me when they misapprehend me. Any case, so Orthodox Jews wise, well actually everybody wise, the whole world wise, let me start with this. If the concept of heresy exists in your mind, if there is anything that you're unable to hear for the sake of your own mental well-being, honestly, if there's anything you're unable to hear for the sake of your mental well-being, then do not watch me. Do not watch me. I make no promises about anything. I really, honest to God, do not watch. For example, if I were to say that, let's give an example for Orthodox Jews. When I say Jewish texts, if the Jewish name of God, Yud Hey Vav Hey, comes up, and for the record, by the way, Orthodox Jews normally would say Yud K Vav K. They won't even spell the 4 letters of the name. They don't pronounce it. They think it's, So from people, you might be shocked. In other words, here I am, an Orthodox Musmach. I was Rebbe of an Orthodox shul. This is my background. This is something I'm very, very interested in, but at the same time, I have been called, I've been called an apikoros. I guess I'm talking to Orthodox Jews at this point. Wow, this is difficult to do. Very, very difficult to do. Okay, cool. The good thing about this time is that I'm able to switch off. But anyway, I'll just finish my point there. I say Yahweh or Jehovah. I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say. I'll also say Yake Yahweh is Yahweh. words are just words. You have to actually mean something. It has to make sense in the fucking context. That's why I'm saying fucking, and with the whole exaggerated point of it. There's no such thing as a bad word. There literally is no such thing as a bad word, absent the context. Absent the context. So when people are looking at, when they have fossilized rules about speech, my fuckity lord. Okay? And just to round it out, as I do every time, nigger, 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 and gas all the Jews, gas all the Jews, gas all the Jews, and I love terrorist pedophiles, and I love murder, and if you're a child, go and kill yourself. Okay? Did I cover all the horrible things that a person can say at the very end of the extreme, so I'm kosher then thereafter? It won't make a difference. There's so people watching this right now that will see this, but the hope is, or at least the theoretical thing is, that in the future, when people do inevitably get upset about something because they have a misapprehension of what I'm trying to say, and they really like one thing, and it takes them, something else really disturbs them, I can just point them back and say, hey, yo, I said all this shit like forever. Okay, so just look at my old videos and stuff. So that's, yeah, okay. But when it comes to heresy, it's a matter of if we can't talk about things honestly, including, for example, hey, maybe we should kill all the Jews, right? If we can't talk about that possibility honestly, then screw you. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not particularly a fan of killing all the Jews. I happen to be one. I'm not a fan of killing anybody anyway. So, but yeah, no such thing as heresy. No such thing as heresy. At the same time, there's also no such thing, anyway. Okay. This is so not natural for me. This speaking into a video for a very, very small current audience, in the theory that in the future there'll be a large audience that I'm speaking to as well, instead of the few people I know are going to watch this, and then the estimated approximate who I think might have heard about this video, or my channel. But I started this because it seemed like maybe I had to, for my own safety. Maybe I had to. Kind of what I was saying before. I had some experiences in life, and I figured I need to have some public face. Plus, the great things that I want to do in this world, it's helpful to have some kind of public address as well. So that's why I have this. But I was kind of forced into it. But it didn't really have the effect. I don't know that ultimately, at the end of the day, this is much more dangerous than it is anything else. How do people... I don't know. I'm sure there's good stuff online, but there's so much friggin' the way people are communicating online. I tried Twitter for a while because I thought that might be a way to have an influence, but I couldn't do it. And especially here, it's not just a matter online of explaining to people stuff. If someone understands it, that misunderstands, they can come back and I can say, oh, I'm sorry, I definitely didn't mean blah, blah, blah. I can explain. Which I do in real life. If I think someone's upset or offended or by because it's just, it doesn't happen very often, but when you're talking to strangers, it could happen much more often. But here it's an algorithm too. In other words, the words that I said before, right? The algorithm picks that up. Here on YouTube as well, the algorithm picks it up. In other words, from your perspective, you're watching a video. From YouTube's perspective, you can probably actually hit closed captioning. It might have an auto-generated closed captioning on this, I don't know. But that's automatic. And certain words, automatically, people aren't seeing this, right? So therefore, if people who watch this aren't sharing it with other people, nobody is seeing it. Why am I not publicizing it? Because of ADHD, which is not the term that I would use. Nonetheless, we live in a world a certain way, a sheker world. I am someone who prefers truth and sincerity and honesty and being real. It's really all I can do. I can't do the responsible thing. I'm not capable of it. In other words, when I try, I always fail. Every time. for myself or for other people trying to get something done. Always fail. So all I can really do is sincerity. And does sincerity end up accruing, to get the things that are done that I want to get done? Does that end up happening? Well, it always makes people want to, but then they assume that I can do the details. Can't. That's why I need to explain really, really who I am in this thing. Because what I'm trying to do is to teach and lead and help and moderate a movement to bring all of us, all of humanity, to a much, much, much better place, and to extreme longevity, possibly not having to get old or die. It's not a magical thing that I'm talking about. It's scientific, etc. And it would take a while to explain. But I've explained bits and pieces here and there, and it really depends on who the particular audience is. And in this fashion over here, where there is not even any large audience, it's very difficult. So if you think that I have some value here to teach, if you want me to be able to do this, please get me an audience. Please get people on. I can't do it. I'm not saying I can't as an excuse. And it's not even, I don't think, learned helplessness. It's that I try, you know what I'm saying? I understand myself pretty well. And nonetheless, I try. Like I said before about the money thing, I tried I tried the sincere things really, really hard on Twitter. I put up like 20,000 tweets in about a year and a half, which is a lot. And they're intelligent tweets too. Literally, I would say not zero. I'm certain that there's got to be some. But maybe 1% would be tweets that what someone might consider stupid or average, an average tweet. Just 1%. All of them, otherwise, are intelligent. And I close my Twitter account because it's completely meaningless. I can't get an audience there because I'm automatically blocked. And people, it's not the way Twitter works. Twitter's about hate. And if I'm not doing the hate thing, it doesn't really get, Hell, this is about YouTube. Is the whole internet. It's either self-help, what's good for me. If it's about other people, it's like hate. It's so fucking messed up. So, for example, the very first video on this channel is I accidentally walked into the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Remember that person? Ghislaine Maxwell? She was the sex producer for Jeff Epstein, the girl getter for Jeff Epstein. Almost certainly working for the Mossad and the FBI and whatever, and just, all the people who are connected. Because you have to understand, I was going to go on to, I don't really have something that I have a responsibility that I have to do now. So I'm not really allowed to go for very much further on this. But my point there was just that it's something at the time that I put it up, which was about a year and a half ago, same evening that I started Twitter, as I accidentally walked into the trial because I saw a bunch of cameras outside as I was walking through downtown Manhattan. And I was curious what it was. And they said what it was. And I was like, I wonder if I can get in. I'm curious. It was this huge profile case. The whole world was watching it. And my video, if you look at it, as of right now when I speak, which is Sunday, July 23rd of 2023, it has only about 710 views, something like that. Maybe less, maybe a little more, but around that. That's it. And it's because it's not full of hate. Even though I say, do you understand? I literally, you watch the video, you'll see. My activities there were more interesting than anybody but the attorneys people activities there in the fucking courthouse. I spoke to all the people there. It was a very interesting, my video is technically very interesting. In the future, it is, but for, in a forum where anything to do with this is just, if I'm in a good mood and just enjoying my day and saying, hey, you guys check, it's interesting, check it out, and started figure, okay, I felt that I needed to have a public presence, but this seemed like just the right thing. The whole friggin' world was watching it that day. Why not? I was actually in the courtroom, and I was one of the very few people actually there. Hey, I got some, and I had interesting experiences. And yet, so very, very, very few people have watched it, even to this day, even with my trying to promote it. I guess let me end on just saying this one practical thing, which is that In an ideal world, there are no shoulds. The way that your creator wants you to be is not controlled by anything external, not controlled by a superego, not controlled even by something internal that doesn't work for you, that you inherited from your ancient ancestors. For example, stress and fear and paranoia and hatred. Lots and lots of feelings that might have made sense, back in our animal day, that we inherited from our great grandparents who didn't even have speech. And then we inherited over the course of a long time when there was a world where it made sense. But I mean, pretty much our physical bodies, we inherit them from before there is prehistory. Not that much evolution took place since people started writing stuff down, since we can actually go back and read anything that anyone had to say, even in cuneiform or hieroglyphics. So lots that's internal doesn't work. Lots that's external, especially crap that we inherited from previous generations that doesn't work for us, might not have worked for them either, but some things did, but we inherited them as words or as teachings or as cultural stuff, or it's done by people who want things for themselves, selfish people who want things for themselves against your interests, and they run the culture. It's quite horrifying. That's not what nature wants. It's not what God wants. It's not what you want. However we call all these things. You want to be legit. You want to be legit. You want to be you. You don't want to have you want to be controlled by your mind. You want to live happily and freely, and it's all so doable. That's what the Sabbath is about every seventh day. It's what the sabbatical year is supposed to be about every seventh year. And once every 50 years, the entire world is supposed to get a reset. Because so much changes all the time, and there's so much garbage coming in from all over, and there's so much that's still running in our head. We're running like hamster wheels. And just the last few seconds before you die, when nothing matters anymore, that you fucking finally wake up for a few seconds, just that time to have regrets. That's no way to live. That's no way to live. And the way the world is right now, where everybody has cameras and videos and recorders on them, and everyone has more secrets than ever before, and more lies than ever before, and more ways of presenting themselves a certain way. Now, I'll grant you, I'm actually wearing a shirt. I prefer not to. I even actually have my hair brushed over twice, and have some, because I'm going bald, and have some black powder put on. It's the only makeup I think that I've ever worn, would be that. But I also spray the hair. I prefer to not to. I think that's not Eden. In Eden, there was complete nudity. It's spoken about physically, but much more important is not the physical. Just that so long as we're still wearing clothes when we don't need to, but because, there's something wrong with society. There's what to be said for the whole sex thing. How do you deal with that? If right? But we're so retarded when it comes to anything to do with sex that that's the least of our problems right there. Wearing 1,000 layers of garments, people are way retarded. It's very problematic. But the Yovel, the flood that washes away everything from the past, that resets everything for mankind. You have a year or 2 years of freedom of your basic necessities are taken care of. You're not allowed to try to get more than your basic necessities. You're not allowed to get or accept more than your necessities. Just to travel and mingle and everyone congregate together certain times and certain places. It's a time for humanity to connect. Now, we live right now in a world where we could be doing so much better every day of our life that is lived with any level of stress or unhappiness is a complete waste today. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay, I don't know what to say. Try to get me some people I can talk to, and it'll matter. But in the meantime, well, let me put it this way. If I get $120,000 by my birthday, then Well, first of all, please watch Final Chance for a Fresh Start. Please do watch that. And also please understand that regardless of whether you understand all the things that I'm saying, all the Jewish terms and what I'm referencing in Isaiah and in Exodus and all the things, what I'm saying is completely rational and does not require any kind of belief at all. And I myself, my belief is only in what is rational. That is like Maimonides and Gandhi said, from two completely different worlds and time periods. Truth, and like in many ancient Jewish writings and many other ancient writings of all religions, truth is God. God's stamp is truth. That's who God is. Not a guy. We relate to God as like he does things and he talks to people and he gets angry and he thinks and he changes his mind and he has conversations. And what are you going to do? We are human. That's how we understand. That's how we can relate. But it's ultimate reality. God is ultimate reality. So when I use terms like that and stuff, you have to understand that I'm not saying anything that you need to be any kind of religious to understand. I think most differences between religious and irreligious and whatever else is really coming down to semantics and stuff like that. And I can resolve so much of this. Any case, as I was saying before, if I get $120,000 by my birthday, then until October 12th, 2024, in other words, a little over a year, I will be living Shemitah until that is the Yovel. October 12th, 2024. For those who understand what this means, it's Shabbos Yom Kippur. Sorry, I would have to explain way too much, even to Orthodox Jews. And they would have one thing I'd have to explain, and everyone else would have a different thing I'd have to explain. And I can't do that right now. But if I get that money, then I will not try or accept it's hard to say because I can't say I won't accept any more money or whatever else, because like I said before, most of my money historically does not go to me. It goes to things that are good for humanity, or for individuals. And I can't say I won't accept to have. I can say this: until that day, I will be free from responsibilities. In other words, taking care of this goof, this body, this person. I won't try to get money for myself, whatever that means. But beyond that, also, I will attempt to actually strike out any falsehoods and idols from my life through being free from anything that I feel that I need. I do that anyway already. I guess the one thing I would have to say is that I won't look at any screen. I mean, TVs don't really exist anymore, do they? So we're talking about like phones and computers and stuff. I won't look at any screen whatsoever, which is a huge, time waster at times, unless it's for something that I know what I want to do. And then it'll be very, very, very limited to that thing. And it won't be for entertainment. Yeah. No relaxing with screens. No, in other words, no web surfing, certainly no movie watching or YouTube watching, unless, again, I'm definitely certain a video like this, and there are videos like that, there are important things on YouTube to watch. I would, but I would pre-plan, this is what I'm going to do. In other words, only turn it on. I would only look at a screen, b'machshava tchila. That means knowing in advance that I'm going to do it for that reason, not ending up looking at a screen or continuing to look at a screen thereafter. And just so you know something about me, I have an incredible amount of self-control. People might not realize that, but pretty extreme in terms of whatever. I don't, screw that. Can I take that back because I don't want to explain it. But yeah, if I get $120,000 by this weekend, then by Friday for my birthday, then I do swear that until Shabbos Yom Kippur of the year 5,950, that is going to be the Jewish year, for the record. Sorry to break it to you, for those who are Jewish and think it's something else. 5,950. Anyhow, but October 12th, 2024 in secular jargon. Until then, I am free from all, there's nothing that I got to do for this guy, for this body. I'm not trying to get any money for him. In other words, that'll come out of that 120. And it's minimal, for the record. I spend most of my life living on, including now, living on literally about $1,000 a month. Approximately, sometimes less, sometimes more. I don't spend a lot on myself. So that would be taken out of that, and I wouldn't, right? And I wouldn't, yeah. In other words, I'd be completely Shemitah, Shabbos, free, and pursuing this, trying to get as many people as, explaining this, trying to, have conversations and explaining and teaching how, and getting us to that better world, but first through Yovel, through October 12th, 2024, a reset, trying to get a reset for humanity, which we need so, so, so desperately. Freedom, relaxing, mingling, not being addicted to phones, but mingling. Free from, we don't need, anyway, all the distractions and drugs and things we think, and relationships, things we think that we require because we're, out of fear or whatever, things that we are stuck on in our heads. All of humanity is in some way or other, except for some people living out in on the Himalayas, right? Some people who live in their own little cloys, in their own little room. But that's not the ideal. The ideal is to be with humanity. The ideal is, apparently it seems, that none of us can achieve immortality until everyone does. None of us can have really great lot until everyone does. That's really what seems to be the case. Complete freedom until everyone has it. So that's what I'm trying to do. But again, it's Shemitah. And what happens then is that for the rest of, basically for about a year after that date, October 12th, 2024, the goal is no one's working. We get together sometimes in certain places, all people, will physically congregate. Maybe we'll have hookups through internet so that we could theoretically, but really we need huge congregations, not in your houses. And really as little screens as possible for everybody. And I will lead that by, or I will do that myself, by never using a screen for any kind of entertainment whatsoever, including just time wasting, even if I'm eating alone, even if I'm sitting on the toilet. Oh my goodness, I still wouldn't use no phones whatsoever. And heck, I'll throw in books too, unless it's pre-planned. None of that. Because what I want to get done is so much fun to try to get it done. It's so much fun to try to help the whole friggin' world and myself in the mix. Yeah. All right, be blessed.